queens, welcome to Tea Talk with myself, Leo. Today I'm chilling with a beautiful lady by the name of Nelly. Hi Nelly, welcome to Emma Day.
Thank you.
So Nelly's going to be telling us a little bit more about herself and her journey, so stay tuned. So yeah, we're just gonna get straight into it. Nelly, my
Yes.
darling, please let us in on who is Nelly.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So, Unelisiwene, first of all, I'm a mother to one of the most handsome boys in the world, Amahle. I'm a mother first, but also I feel that I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor, I'm a go-getter, but most of all, I don't give up. That's just who I am. I'm loving, I'm a very supportive person, and I love the people in my life. I take care of everybody. That's just who I am.
Definitely. Well, nice to meet you.
Thank you. I hope the people who are close to me can say the same. Though.
Exactly. Well, I can say the same.
I'm happy to hear that.
You were molested as a child
3 times.
3 times.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you the reins and just hit us with it.
So, I was 6
Okay.
and I was living with my grandparents because Umama was here in Gauteng working, was providing. So
Okay. Where were you?
I was in KZN in
Okay.
Newcastle living with cousins, grandparents, and my
Yeah.
aunts.
Okay.
So there's many of us, most. So they don't really pay much attention to where the kids are, where they're playing, and all those things. So the first encounter, the first rape encounter, was with the neighbor who lives 2 houses away from us. He was a very respectable guy in the community, and the funny thing about being molested is you can actually remember every single detail, the smell, what you went through, what you were wearing, the sounds, everything. I think that is the one encounter that I remember the most out of them all. That's the one encounter I remember the most, because even the guy, there was this one cent coin. It used to be silver.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember after he was done raping me, he gave me that 1 rand, like, just to keep quiet. And I can remember Lerato, like, as he was trying to penetrate me. Remember, I'm 6, and it was so painful. And I remember part of him, like, he stopped because he saw that I was in pain. But I don't know if to him it triggered, well, this is a child and you shouldn't be doing this to them. I remember after that, I was just feeling sick. I felt physically sick, like there was actually something wrong with me. And I was sitting with my grandparents and I was holding that coin in my hand. And I kept replaying what happened. And then the second encounter was with my mother's cousin. Also with that one, I can just remember it like it just happened yesterday. With him, he would come, like, visit my grandparents, and with this time we had a toilet was in the outside, and then there was the one also in the inside. He was in the toilet outside and he came out. Ganti, I was passing by, and then he called me into the toilet. I can't remember what he said to me really, but then he put down my pants and he made me stand in the toilet seat because I was short, most I needed to be the same height as him. And he also tried to penetrate me. Same thing happened also. And then the last encounter was with somebody who's very much close to me now. We get along now. We're pretty much good. I understand why they did that to me. It's a male cousin. The same thing was happening to them also.
At the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't with somebody that I knew, because we were not living in the same area. The cousin was living with their parents in KZN.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went through that, and it took me time to recover because I never told anyone. I had to deal with it by myself, because I think from the age of 6 to when I was 16, I would cry myself to sleep practically every day. Because I would ask myself, like, I'm 6, why would somebody want to do this to me? I'm 6, I don't even know what sex is. I don't think any 6-year-old needs to experience or even know what sex is. I understand. When you are 6 and somebody starts touching you in a sexual way, automatically to a child that feels wrong. I don't want to lie to you. It felt wrong in every way. Even if it's something that you've never done before, but when an adult does that to you, it feels wrong in every way. And it affects you even into your adulthood, because now you start meeting guys and then you question yourself, is sex the only thing they want from me? You understand? You like recently I just lost weight, and I get offended when a guy will compliment my body. What? Is sex the only thing I'm good for? Is sex the only thing you see in me? You understand? So I'm still dealing with a lot, but I think that I've accepted, because at first, like, I'll blame my mom. Why did she have to leave the president with my grandparents? Because if she didn't, I don't think that would have happened. But I think it had to happen in order for me to be the person that I am today, in order for me to have the strength that I have today. Because if it hadn't happened, or if it had happened to someone else, do you think they would have been able to take it? So for a very long time, I was angry at my mom. But then, when time went by, I had to forgive myself. Because also I was like, I used to blame myself. Why did they choose me? Why was I their victim? But then I remember I was talking to this other chick who went through the same thing, and she was blaming herself. And I remember saying to her, you were only 5. How were you going to know? Was there with the adults? And I had to put myself in a situation where I had to forgive myself first, because I was blaming everybody. I was blaming my mom. My mom had to provide for me, and she left me in KZN, and my sister, you understand? And then I learned that, you know what, I blame my mother for nothing, but I forgive her for everything. I blamed her for everything that actually went wrong when I was in KZN. But then I had to sit down and just think, okay, she was only doing what she thought was best, and she didn't even know what was happening. Because Naya, when I told her, she was literally shocked. I told my mom when I was 18, what happened.
What is it that is making you keep quiet first, before we go into what is it that made you speak? But in the big to this,
I think because when it was being done to me, it felt wrong. So how was I going to be able to tell my grandparents? First of all, like, my grandma was that woman, uyashaya. You know, you can't sit down with her and talk about such things. How do I explain this to her? I'm 6. How do I explain what an adult did to me? You know, how do I explain something that is sexually inappropriate? We understand it to an adult. So for me, I think it was more of that. I knew that it was wrong. Number 2, it wasn't easy for me to speak with my grandmother, because also I've had issues with her, you know, story for another day. I've also had issues with her, but it wasn't easy for me. So I think I just kept it to myself, and I just thought, okay, I'll deal with it as time goes by. With the first case of being molested, the guy actually ended up passing away, I think 3 years after that, from HIV, which really freaked me out. I won't lie, like, it freaked me out. And I remember I was scared, and for the longest time ever, because of what had happened to me, I thought I wasn't going to be able to even have kids. And I think that's also the main reason why I don't want to have kids. Okay, I have a son now, but even life for him is not easy because of what his mom went through. I understand. And I would ask myself, my son, questions such as, like, somebody touch you? So my son finds it weird, like, why would my mom ask me all the time if somebody has touched me? So the guy passed away. My mom's cousin was living a bit far from us, so it wasn't somebody that I was seeing all the time. And then with my cousin Naye, he was living far away, so there were not people that I was seeing all the time. But then I remember there was also an instant where I was living this side, and my uncle took us somewhere with my cousin, and then now he wanted to leave. He went to his friend. He wanted to leave, ne? And the friend was like, you can't leave. Why must you leave now? Then my uncle was like, no, I'm gonna come back. And then the guy was like, well, you should leave one of the kids. And then I was like, why? So that you come back, Mos, as an assurance that you will come back. And then he was like, okay. And then he was like, you must leave the girl. I knew every fiber in my being, like, I knew if Nyanga Sala Lapa, that guy was raping me. I I knew every fiber in me. I was like, Angsalila. And I thought my uncle wanted to leave me there. I was like, I felt it. Once it has been done to you, you know when it's going to happen again. You know when it's going to happen again. Sometimes, because during the day we're busy, we interact with people, we don't get to think as much. At night you're alone, you get to think. From the age of 6, practically until the age of 16, 18. That was when I actually came to terms with what happened to me. And I told myself that I needed to deal with it, because crying myself to sleep every morning, every night wasn't working for me anymore. It needed to stop. But then,
sorry, Ruken,
I know it's no problem.
but I want to find out, did these encounters happen once?
They happened in 1 year though. In 1 year, in a period of months.
Okay.
So it started with a guy who passed away.
Yes. And then the guy that passed away, did he repeat?
No, it was only once.
Okay.
It was only once.
Yeah.
Because with him he wasn't living too far away from where I was staying, two houses away.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I avoided the guy every possible way I can. I can avoid people, bro. You have no idea. That's the other skill I have.
The skill that came with it.
So I avoided the guy to the point where he eventually passed away. And the funny thing, he was such a respectable guy.
It's always the respectable.
I looked up to him, and even when he called me to his room, I didn't think twice. I thought, I wasn't even I was 6 months. I wasn't even thinking rape. But I remember being, you know, those corduroy pants. It was a red one. I was 6. And I remember I was wearing a hoodie-nyana. It was navy blue and red also. It had stripes. I had an afro-nyana there. Yeah. Called me into his room and I thought or something. Then put me down in his bed, and I'm 6. So for me, I was like, okay. But once it got on top of me, that was just something else. Yeah. So they happened it was the same year, but they are months apart.
How often do you think about it now?
I still do think about it.
Yeah.
It will forever be part of me. I don't forget. It will forever be part of me, because even now it still affects me.
Yeah.
If a guy would approach me and if a guy would be like, oh, you're so sexy, I'm like, really, is that the only thing you see in me?
Yeah.
Understand?
So in that way, it follows you.
It still follows me, because I'm still very much overprotective over my son, where he goes, who he sees, who he's around. I didn't trust anyone with my son other than his father. Like, I wouldn't leave anyone with my child, including my mother. So you should know how bad it was. It was very deep. The only person I trusted was Babai, because we shared the same love for him.
Yeah.
And he also knew what I went through most growing up. So as much as you can say that you are over it, I think it haunts you for the rest of your life. As much as you deal with other things, I feel if my child would have been a girl, life would be healthy. And I think I was gonna also make their life a living hell. Even right now, life is a living hell for my son, because he has to tell me every time where he's going. Even when he's going next door, Mom, I'm going next door. So it's to that point where he would ask me like, Mom, why should I? Why must I report my goings? I'm like, there's human trafficking, there's this, but the truth of the matter is I'm scared for him. I don't want my child to go through what I went through. In fact, I don't want anyone for that matter to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
To have to deal with somebody for like 10 years, to get over something for like 10 years, it's too much. And I mean, what sucks about me is I'm that person now where everything with me is emotional. I'm exactly like my dad. My dad was an emotional person. I am an emotional person. You would rather hurt me physically, I can take physical pain. I was in induced labor for 4 days, girl. Oh, that's how gangsta I am.
Oh my god! Okay, we still need to get into that as well.
I was in induced labor for 4 days. So physical pain, I can take physical pain. Emotional pain, it's just something I can't handle.
Let's talk about now opening about this. Now, who's the first person you are telling about this? Tell me about that journey.
So the first person I told was my sister.
Okay.
And I think we were in grade 10.
Mm.
We were in grade 10, and I told her, we were just sitting there, and it just came out. And then when time went by, my dad passed away. When my dad passed away, like literally, I look exactly like my dad. So I felt like the one person that understood me was God. And I came out to my friends, like my high school posse. I came out to them and I told them what happened, and they were so understanding and so supportive. My mom was actually the last person I told, and I decided to tell her. I wasn't gonna tell my mom. The reason why I ended up telling my mom is that my mom started dating, and then this guy started coming around the house, and I would be very rude and very disrespectful to my mom if this guy was around, and my mom didn't understand it. And then this time we just had a full blown fight. You know, and I freaked out. I was like, I don't want men in this house. I don't feel safe when there are men in this house. Why must you bring men in this house? And I don't wanna lie, like my mom was not that woman who brought men in the house.
Yeah.
That was the first guy and the last guy she's ever put in the house. We had such a bad fight with my mom that like my conscience wouldn't allow me to just let it go. How can you speak to your mother like that? First of all, I called, I was like, Mom, I need to tell you something when you come back from work. You need to understand why I'm acting the way I'm acting. And then she came back from work. We sat down and I told her what happened.
Take your time.
I think she was in such disbelief, and she was in shock. But I told her, and it was such a huge weight off my shoulders. And then after I told her, I think after a couple of years, and I did realize that there's just certain things that I haven't dealt with, because we're one of them in the kind KZN,
Yeah.
and we had to go there. That's when we saw my mother's cousin. And my mom was so nice to him. It's so betrayed.
After you had told her,
I felt so betrayed because I told her what this guy did to me. I wasn't expecting her to fight the guy or confront the guy or anything like that, because it was something that I have moved past. But I realized, like, when I saw the guy, I was so angry, but I didn't confront the guy. And then my mom was so nice to him. I felt so betrayed because some of the things, maybe she's also went through it, but she doesn't want to talk about it.
yes.
Or maybe it's her cousin, she doesn't know what to do. Yeah, understand? I had to just look at it from her perspective and like, I need to heal for myself. I need to forgive for myself, because I can't allow myself to feel this way every time I see this guy. And he passed away that same year. Passed away that same year also.
So I also want to ask this question. Oh my God. Today's session, ladies, is a very emotional session. So cue the tissues and everything. You also mentioned to me that you at some point were also molested by a lesbian woman.
Yes.
That to me was mind-boggling, because when you think about rape, thinking about men, I'm a daughter, you are into this thing, I'm a daughter.
Yes.
So now it changes things to hear about this.
Yes.
Please tell me.
So there was this chick name, I forgot her name. She was very nice, and she just liked me. Just the kid was. I think at that time I was 9, 10. Yeah. I was 9, 10.
Yeah.
She liked me. You know, she would say I must come visit her in the shop. You see,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So the first encounter with her was this other day, and she was closing up the shop.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go home because my mom knew most of it. This lady like me, to say shop. Oh, it's fine. It's a woman. Was that, you know, she's lesbian, but they didn't really think that, you know, she's you know. So she's like, okay, fine. And as I'm about to leave, she's like, okay, hug me. I hug her. Fine. As I hug her, she kisses me. Like literally French kissing me, and I'm 10. I'm like, okay, this is weird. 2 days after that, she comes to my mom. She asks my mom if I can come visit her. She stays. So my mom doesn't read much into it.
Yes.
You know. And then she's like, sure, she can come visit you. Okay. At this point here at the now, I'm uncomfortable around this woman. But how do I tell my mother? Why am I uncomfortable?
Do you have the same fear
Yes.
that you had with the men now?
Yes, it's there. But then I'm thinking she has no dick, so it can't be that bad.
Ah.
I'm throwing a joke there. Did you get that?
Oh, I see.
Yes, I was not showing you again.
Yes.
So, I'm like, okay, can't be that bad. But also I'm thinking, you know, you shouldn't think the worst of people. How? Fine. None of us are uncomfortable. And we went. I remember Masongwele slide, like I couldn't shut my eyes. Like she was busy touching me. And I'm like, this is not normal. But for me, I was like the following day when I had to leave, it was like, whew, thank God that's over. You understand? And
So was she fondling you?
oh, I didn't want that. I didn't want. She was just kissing me and touching me, and
Okay.
yeah, she did have her head down. If I was, you know, when she had her head down there, it took me back to all those guys. We understand that, and yo, that was another weird experience for me. It was a very weird one.
And then tell me about what it made you think about, because now Akiri, when you are now molested by a man, you think a certain way. You fear men. You are in that space around men. You are not comfortable. Now, what does this do to you when it's coming from a woman? How is your life changing? How is your thought process changing? How is it affecting you now after that experience with this woman?
That experience with that chick, actually, I think it empowered me. I think it empowered me because I was like, if I can stand up to myself, okay, that time I was 6, this time I'm 10, you know. So,
But you still have this thing. You
will forever have this thing of Uguti. Somebody just wants to take something away from you that doesn't belong to them. Always, you will always have that, because even when you grow up with relationships, you question, what does he really want from me? It will always affect you. As much as I say that you can accept something and you can say you've dealt with something, but the human mind doesn't forget. It will always be with you. But what is important is how you choose to deal with certain situations. Do you feel sorry for yourself forever, or do you take back your life? I'm not gonna allow those 3 guys to dictate my life or my happiness. I'm gonna be happy irregardless. And not all men are like them. Not all men are gonna come into my life and wanna rape me. Not all of them. But when I was 10, that was when I told myself that I'm taking back my power. And what sucks is that when you have to deal with something that is been written you emotionally, it takes time. Still dealing with it even today.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi you with all the encounters that you had, ne? There's one that you are saying you understood. Tell me about that. You mentioned that it's a sensitive thing and you don't want to get into it, ne? But please just take me through, why are you saying with this one you understand, you understood?
I told you it's a cousin, ne?
Yes.
And we were Bisisekaya, like normally every festive season we go home.
Yeah.
And with my cousin, I don't know, like with the cousin, I felt like I stood up for myself. I was given a chance to actually come face to face with the person that hurt me. And I got to understand. I got closure. Let me just put it simplest way. I got closure.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, being raped, like it sort of messes with your mind. You ask yourself, did I maybe
Do
present
something.
myself in a different way? Did I do something to have this thing happen to me? Or maybe is it something that I'm doing that's giving these men all these ideas? So when I confronted the cousin, I was like, you know, I remember what you did to me when we were 6. It fucked me up. And he genuinely broke down and he said, "I'm sorry. I did what I did to you because you need to understand something. He's a guy, and another guy was doing that to him. What I've understood, and from talking to my cousin mostly, is what he did to me. It was because it was being done to him. But most probably, if I can have the same conversation with the guy who was doing it to him, most probably when he was growing up, the same thing was done to him. So you see, it's just a chain reaction. Understand?
Yeah.
So I'm this person who's lately I've started this thing of, before judging somebody, I put myself in their shoes. Do I look at rapists and become disgusted? Yes. Because I feel that if you want to change something, you ask for help. If you know that you have a problem, you ask for help. I was there. And if I see myself guilty, what has happened to me, trauma has damaged me in a certain way, and I start doing it to other people, then that's when I start asking for help. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that people do malicious things because they want to. I think that people do malicious things because malicious things were done to them. It's a chain reaction, like I told you. But then we need to put it to a stop. Hence I'm saying, let's raise kids who don't have to recover from their childhood. You understand? Because here I am right now, still recovering from my childhood. And we understand that I'm a mother now, and it's affecting me in my motherhood, raising my child. But I had to sit down and think, do I want to put my child through what I went through? It's a no. I'm putting a stop to it. I'm trying my best to raise. I'm doing my best to raise my son. I don't want my son to be a rapist. I don't want my son to be a thug. I don't want my son to be a murderer. And I don't want my son to have to recover from his child.
A victim.
And I don't want my son to be a victim. And I'm also not a victim. I'm a survivor.
Hallelujah.
It happened. Yes. It's fine. What do? You heal, you empower others, and you soldier on. It's life, it sucks, but it has to happen, and you soldier on.
Yes, my queen. Yes, and that is why we are here. We are here to empower. We are here to uplift, and that is M&H. We want to tell the stories of other queens, so that do for Mata. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about relationships and how your situation and how it shaped your dating scene. How did it affect your relationships and dating? How did that?
Remember, rape also affects you psychologically. So your thinking also changes, especially your perspective when it comes to men.
Yeah.
So once a man approaches you, you wonder, what do they really want? You understand? Fine, you start dating, but then intimacy becomes a problem because now you were introduced to intimacy when you were not ready for it. And intimacy to you became a violation. We understand that at the age of 6 you're being molested, and then now you're 18, you're supposed to now have consensual sex. How do you differentiate? Because in your mind you're still that 6-year-old. You will forever be that 6-year-old until you forgive yourself and move on. But in your mind you'll forever be that 6-year-old. So for me, intimacy for a long while was a problem because it will bring me back to being touched when I was 6. And remember now, it's consensual, something that I want to do, but then also the 6-year-old in me is still stuck there. And I lost my virginity when I was 19. Like when I was 19, that's when I decided now I'm gonna have sex, you understand? But also, I remember the first time I had sex. You know, like I got home, and that thing of when I was raped came back. But then I had to also shift my focus. Remember, my third guy didn't force himself to me. I allowed him. But that's when also the healing started, because now I had to be able to differentiate between intimacy and somebody forcing themselves on me. And remember now, I can't be dating someone and every time I get intimate with them, I'm like, I feel like you raped me. You understand?
Yes.
But then, lucky enough, I met my son's father,
Yes.
and he was very much supportive. I told him everything that I went through, so he was able to, like, he knew how to deal with me. He knew Ubuti how he was supposed to initiate sex, and I had to sort of allow him in, other than him just initiating sex and not seeing if I knew or not. We understand, but
Consent.
exactly, it does affect you. It does even affect you relationship wise, because every man that's gonna come to you, you're gonna ask him what do you understand. But when with time, and if you find somebody who's gonna understand you, but then also you forgive yourself, because I think with rape victims, the one thing that we always do is that we blame ourselves. Maybe if I didn't do this, maybe if I didn't wear this, maybe if I didn't go. Because Nami, for the longest time, I was like, maybe when he called me into his room, maybe if I was none of this would have happened. Maybe if I wasn't playing outside the toilet, cousin my mom wouldn't have done that to me.
Yeah.
We understand that it comes with having to forgive yourself first. I don't want to lie. Forgive yourself first before you can give whoever has hurt you. Because we tend to not forgive because partly sort of we think and we start blaming ourselves.
Yes.
For most rape victims, that is the problem. So also my son's father was very instrumental in helping me into my adulthood, like accepting what had happened, understanding that there's a man who's gonna force himself into you, and there's gonna be a man who's gonna ask for permission. You need to know the difference.
Yes.
You need to know the difference. But Kona, it hasn't been easy, but yeah, intimacy is no longer a problem. I know when I want to and I know when I don't want to. And now, like I told you, like when I was 10, that was when I put a stop to it. I was like, I'm not going to be a victim ever again.
Yes.
If I don't want to, I don't want to. And that's it.
And that's it.
And that's it.
It's in perspective yakho on support.
You need to understand something. People will never know what happened to you until you speak about it. They will never know. You need to open up in order for you to get support. And if somebody tells you that they've been raped, stop asking stupid questions. What were you wearing? What happened? I was 6, guys. I was 6. And adults called me into a room and I went there. It was an adult, somebody I respected. I was 6. I did nothing wrong. I was 6. I was playing outside the bathroom. That then adults is there. We understand. And they called me. I wasn't gonna run away. I'm a child.
Hey.
And it wasn't a stranger.
Yes.
It's somebody that I knew. We understand. Stop asking stupid questions when somebody tells you that I've been raped. Stop asking stupid questions. The first question that you must ask, are you okay? How can I help you? What do you need? For the longest time ever, I dealt with this by myself. But once I started opening up, like talking to my son's father, friends, telling my mother, though me and my mom didn't go deep into it because honestly, a part of my mom, I think, never really wanted to accept what happened. She didn't want to come to terms with it. We spoke about it. She cried a bit, she apologized, and that was the end of it. I don't blame her. And with their generations, they don't know how to deal with
these
certain
kind of
things.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But, and also, pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to your kids. You bathe them, you ask them, who touched you? I know it's, but you must ask your kids.
Yeah.
You must ask
Yeah,
your kids.
it's very important. I ask my son as well.
We did talking helps. Coming clean about it helps, because I feel if Kibileka Buwa a long time ago, I don't think I would have went through all these things trying to heal all by myself. We need support. We are not superwomen. We are not superheroes. Even superheroes need help sometimes. And you grow up, you go through life, and then you stress of relationships, having a child. We can only do so much. We understand. So support is very important. Speak to somebody that you trust, even if you can tell them and tell them not to tell anyone. But having somebody who exactly, having somebody who can go to and just cry my lungs out. A lot of us are very much depressed and we don't even know about it. I've suffered through depression all my life. My faith being questioned. You know, the life doesn't go the way we plan sometimes, and then you're gonna question God. Mara, I pray every day, like, but understand?
Yeah.
I pray every day, like, why are things not falling into place? Things are not falling into place right now, but I don't wanna lie, like, I'm feeling very positive. I'm feeling very positive, and now corner with depression, I decided, I'm done. I'm not gonna let my past dictate me. I'm not gonna let my past stop me from being happy. I'm not gonna allow people who are 6 feet under to stop me from living my life. They didn't apologize. It's fine. It's fine. I wish they would have done the same as my cousin and we were gonna be cool. They didn't. So what are you gonna do? Are you still gonna sell? Maybe you're gonna find them in hell and you're gonna ask them. Exactly. So what do you do? Ladies, we need to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. Can I say this?
Yes. Can we repeat that?
Can I just say this? Listen, ladies, let's stop feeling sorry for ourselves. It happened. It's life. And let me tell you something. Life always has problems. So roller coaster is like this. It's like this.